Alright, so let's take a look at getting our object out of here and building out a substance material, bringing it into Unity. So there's a couple things you want to do before you export. Make sure your normal node, remember that's the node that we created when we created a normal like that. Make sure that node is always on fill alpha with input or you'll get a fail warning in Unity. Next thing you want to do is right click. When we go to publish to SBR file, and we're just going to go ahead on desktop. I have a folder called metal, and I'm going to name it metal. And I'm going to go ahead and export that. Let's jump back into Unity. I'm going to right click into my assets folder. You know what, we'll just throw it up in assets now, and then later we'll come back to it. And we'll make a folder for the pipe. That's where I'd like to apply it. So I'm going to go to import new asset, grab my metal material, and there it is. Now I'm going to open this up and grab my metal and just drop it on there. Now it looks a little too tiled for my taste. Here, let's look at the material here. So you can see, like, here's our tiling parameters. You can adjust the amount. What I'm going to do is just legitimately unwrap it and just play with the scale inside of Maya. So if I'm going to pause the video and jump back into, well, actually, let's show you how to export. Select the pipe itself, and then inside of your Pro Builder window, you'll see one that says export. It'll give you this option for an OBJ. I'm going to go to desktop and I'm going to export it as drain pipe and hit save. Now I'm going to pause the video and jump back into and open up Maya. Alright, we're in Maya and I imported in our drainage pipe. Notice it comes with a lot of different attributes. I'm going to go to edit, delete all by type, history to clean that. And I'm going to do modify freeze transformations and I'm going to do modify center pivot. So it's all cleaned out. Now let's go to our UV editor. We got pretty good UVs coming out of it, but just for now I'm going to double click all the faces and I'm going to shift right click and I'm going to map it on X, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty good, facing this way. Then we'll right click, go to edge mode and double click that inside edge and then cut it. Or you can hit shift X, select all those UVs or double click one UV. And then shift right click again, unfold, and then unfold that out. Looks like something wasn't cut right. Guessing it's cut in multiple. Yeah, it looks like it was cut in a couple places. So I'm gonna go ahead and pause the video, and I'm just gonna stitch this guy up, and once I come back, I'll redo those steps. Alright, so what I did is I right clicked and I went to vertex mode and I highlighted it because there's some welded verts coming out of Pro Builder that were not welded, like these guys and some of those edges. So I shift right clicked and I went to merge vertices. And then you can toggle the options here for how much, and then I just applied that to weld them. Then inside of here I went to edge mode, double click this inside edge, so you can kind of see in here. Then I hit shift X to cut it, and then I went to UV mode, highlighted it, and then hit shift right click, unfold, and it gave me a really nice unfold. Now what I want you to understand is that is a tiled texture, so I can go as big or as low as I want. So to kind of show you what I'm talking about, if we go back in, let's dock this. Can I move this over a little? We turn on our checkerboard pattern. With a tiled texture, say I want the details to be smaller or bigger, I can just expand it or shrink it. So I don't have to keep it in the 0 to 1 area unless I plan on painting across this pipe spear marks or whatever. So really all I have to do is do file, export all. And I'm actually going to export this one as an FBX, and I'll throw it on the desktop and delete it from my desktop later. And I'll name it drain pipe, and then I can use this drain pipe in many places around my scene. So back in Unity, I'm going to make a folder now inside of assets called 3D models. And then I'm going to make one called drain pipe. And this is just going to be actually I'm going to make one called objects. And then this I can bring around. So let's go back in here. I'm going to right click, import a new asset, and it's going to be that drain pipe FBX. Which I believe, here it is. And I'll delete this one from the scene. And I'll drag this one in, right? And here's something that's kind of interesting. I'm going to hit F to focus. Do you see how tiny it is, even though we've exported it out as an OBJ? Unity has, or Maya to Unity has some issues with scaling. So if I go to settings here, and I change it to meter, look how tiny it is, right? So I'm going to do, while I'm in meters, I'm going to re-import in that initial drainage pipe from the desktop. Looks like it came out to the same size. So if we go to meters and then we switch back to centimeters, this is such a weird. Switch back to centimeter and hit save, and then we switch back to meters. They say that's a fix, which it looks like it isn't. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to maximize this. And then, actually, let me check one other thing back in Unity. Use fit scale. Apply this. There we go. Now you can see it's the correct size. So that's another fix for you. Let's put this in place here. That's it. And then you can see the difference between the unwraps. So if we drag and drop this on here, you can see now it's completely unwrapped, and that our tiling might be off. Well, not really. That's actually a hard edge. All right, so that's that, and any other additional objects you make, you can kind of follow the same process. But what I would use is just this rusted thing on anything that was metal.